Hello, everyone, and welcome to Paint by Monster with me, your host, Easel Monster. All right, shut up, boys and girls, and come here and pay attention. This circle represents everything you know. Inside of this circle is everything you know, and everything outside of this circle represents everything you don't know, okay? See how big that is, and it goes on forever in all directions? All right, but the line of the circle itself, that's what I want to draw your attention to. The line represents where what you know meets what you don't know. In other words, this is where you don't know things, all right? You can see how the bigger the circle gets, the more you will know you don't know. This explains that old saying, the more you know you don't know. It also explains the phenomenon how very ignorant people can also be very passionate about how right their ideas are because they don't know enough. Sweet dreams are made of cheese. Who am I to disagree? That's not how that goes at all. All right, let's make a little craft together. For this craft, you will need clothespins, the little kind with the spring inside, not that other kind without the spring. You will also need heavy cardboard or popsicle sticks or something like that to make wings out of and a tail. We are going to make little airplanes out of clothespins. Let's do that. Now, it's also helpful to have pencils and glue, as always, maybe some little clamps, a craft knife, an X-Acto knife, a metal ruler, and a cutting mat, and one other tool that I am going to use because I'm cutting little stacks of wood. If you have one of these, you might need a grown-up to help you, or, try this out yourself. Here is the tool. See if you know what this thing is. Do you know what this is called? This is a miter saw. It's a special saw on a track so that you can cut things at a particular angle that you can dial over here on this end. I'm going to be cutting a 90-degree angle for the wings, and for the tail sections, I'm going to be cutting at a 75-degree angle, and then we'll clean up the mess because we're going to make sawdust and get that everywhere. Now, I'm cutting my little wing pieces about 2 1/4 inches long, and I'm cutting my tail pieces about 1 1/8 inches long. And here is a helpful rule to remember, not just in crafting or making art, but in life. Clean as you go. This is especially true if you're working in the kitchen, my goodness. Clean as you go. Don't leave sawdust laying around here. Sweep this stuff up. Try to keep your work area clean and as organized as you can while you're making this stuff. And by the way, if you're going to use the shop vac instead of bathing, don't get stuck inside the shop vac. Oh yeah, another thing that you might want to have on hand, since we're dealing with little wooden parts, is some sandpaper. Now, because I've sawn through these wing parts and tail parts, they have little burrs on the end of them, and I'm going to sand them flat with some sandpaper like this. Yeah, all right, close enough for government work, which is what the government employees say when they're working. Anyway, all right, after you've sanded all of your parts, your tail parts and your wing parts, now here's how you do this. Here's how you put one of these things together. Believe it or not, it's actually... Do you want to be airplane? Yes, I want to become airplane. Okay, here's how you do this. These extra clothespins out to the side of the middle clothespin are the things that are going to hold up the wings and the tail sections as you glue them on, all right? Which, let's do this. Pick a couple of your wings and see how they fit together. Do they fit together nice and even in the middle? Because, you're going to sand these by hand. You're probably not going to go out into the shop and make them perfectly square. Be really precise. That's close enough, isn't it? It's close enough for me. All right, so you glue one end, get your glue bottle, and glue one end of the wing, just like that. You don't have to smear the glue or anything. You don't have to smear the glue. Stand up. Now lay down so everybody can see what you are. All right. Put the glue down onto the Middle clothespin. Now, that part of the airplane, by the way, is called the fuselage. Fuselage. See, you hang out with me and it will improve your vocabulary and a whole list of other refinements. Glue the other wing and turn that over and put that right on the next to the other wing and try to get them going straight. Try to make the wings go straight. All right, and then grab a couple of tail sections like this. Do the same thing. Hold them up to one another and see how they will fit together. Those look pretty good and about even. You know, that's the other thing with they don't really make the craft sticks precise to start with. So, you got to make sure you've got two wings or tail parts that are roughly the same length. And put this tail section back here where the tail goes. Also, by the way, don't put it all the way back to the very end of the clothespin. You want enough there that you can grab it with the tip of your finger so that you can open and close the tip of the clothespin, which is up there in the front of the fuselage. You know, this is another tool that's helpful if you're working with tiny little parts, and if your claws are too big, get another tool. I'm using a toothpick because they are so useful and handy when you are gluing little tiny parts together. You could also use little pliers, little tweezers. Get your glue and squirt that down on the other tail section. There you go, Mr. Glue. Put that down just like this. Oh, come on. Like this. Slide it into place. That looks a little crooked to me. That's all right. Come back to here. Move this over here. Come on, get pretty for the camera. All right. Now, you also want to separate you. I need more coffee. You also want to separate the back part of this tail a little bit because we're going to insert a third piece of tail part back here that is standing up. Leave me a comment in the comment section. Tell me what that part of the airplane is called. Please. Please leave a comment. By the way, there are more subscribers to Paint by Monster right now than there have been ever. There are 500, as I make this video, there are 577 subscribers to Paint by Monster, which is wonderful. And I am very grateful for all of you who are showing up to watch the show. All right. Try to make this go straight up and down because the tail goes straight up, and hold it there for a second. It'll set. You know, glue's nice and thick. Try to get it straight. Again, little squashing around, pushing around. Glue stays liquid for a minute. Okay, try to make it go nice and straight down the fuselage of your plane like this. All right. Now, let that dry. It won't take it but a few minutes. You know, leave it alone for a few. You got to wait, but be patient. It's okay. Remember, this is another important rule for life. We destroy things with our impatience. Don't be impatient. Leave this be. All right. You could, though. You could fill in that gap between those two pieces of wood a little bit. Okay, remember, glue dries clear, and it's okay. Really, I ought not be messing with this. I'm putting a little bead of glue along the seams where the wings join the clothespin. They call that a fillet of glue. Because actually, it's not because, but that's the way to remember it. Because you are filling in the gap. You're filling it. Fillet. That's not why they call it that, but that's all right. All right. And there it is. There's a little clothespin airplane out of craft sticks and springed clothespins. But let's also make the other kind in case you don't have craft sticks we'll use cardboard. Okay? Let's go make one of those. All right. So, you will need to cut yourself a piece of cardboard about the width of a wing. So here's a scrap piece of cardboard I had laying around. You know, when you're an artist, you've got all kinds of art supplies laying around all the time. You need art supplies laying around if you're supposed to make stuff. Here is a metal ruler. And get your craft knife out, your box cutter knife. I'm not going to tell you to be careful with those. You only need to make a couple of mistakes before you'll learn that for yourself. Cut down. And remember, always stay in control of the knife, always. And don't try to cut through the heavy cardboard in one pull either. Press down firmly, but not trying to muscle and cut all the way through it. It's better to make multiple small cuts down the paper. Usually 4 will do the business of cutting it apart. Sometimes more. But it'll separate on its own automatically. You will feel the blade going into the cutting mat, and then you'll know, I'm all the way through. There it is. So, we'll cut one end out of this. We'll curve that front end of a wing over here. Yeah, I could cut that. I could cut it to length first, but I'm not going to do that because I want more of the cardboard to hold on to. Plus, you know, this is the way I'm doing it. You do it your own way. Okay? I'm just cutting a little, and the same thing. Don't try to get all the way, that's all right. Who cares? Don't try to get all the way through the cardboard in one cut. Use multiple cuts to get through the cardboard. Keep going. Just keep going. Be patient. Remember, we destroy things with our impatience. Don't try to do it in one knife pull. Do it in multiple knife pulls. And the piece itself will just separate and break free from the other cardboard. That's how you know you're done. Now, you can also go back to your sandpaper, because if it'll sand wood, it'll sand paper. Now, it'll also sort of rough these edges, and it's not crisp like wood, so, you know, you might have to do some trimming afterward. But you can use sandpaper on heavy cardboard. People have done it for years. You can do it. Not a big deal. Okay? You can sand your cardboard to the shape you want. You know, it should be shaped like the front of an airplane wing. Or, you know, if you're in the neighborhood, that's close enough. You could sand off some of those fuzzies that happen, because, you know, cardboard is just a bunch of thicknesses of paper that are all glued together at the factory. But that's all that is. So you're sanding off the outer edges of the paper. That's all that's going on. And then, how wide do you want this pair of wings to be? Scritch, 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 right there. All right. So, that wide. Make the other side that wide. How wide is this? Do I need to know the number of the measurement? No. Just transfer the pencil line onto your ruler. You can erase that later if that pencil mark on the ruler bothers you, but anyway. So, boom, right there, and transfer that distance to right there. Now, that's how long that other wing is. Yeah, if you've got fingers instead of claws, you can pick that little piece up and you can use that as the template that you make this other edge. But, you know, it's not easy to deal with these things when you've got claws. Everything sticks to claws. So, anyway, I'm just going to draw this other side. So, can you make this side look like that side? And it doesn't have to be exact. Just if you get close, you know, think about what you're doing here. This thing doesn't have to fly. It just has to give the impression of an airplane, and it's going to do that. So start up here, just like the other one, and slowly come through the paper with your box knife. It's fun to cut paper with a box knife. It's fun to cut cardboard. I love cutting things. Oops, that's all right. An X-Acto knife blade can be more precise than a box cutter, but that's all right. You know, sometimes they call you can get a thing called a carpenter's knife, and that's kind of what this thing is, a disposable carpenter's knife. And why is it disposable? Because you can't replace the blade. You use it and throw it away. That's kind of wonky, but I don't care. You know, you can get your sandpaper back out and you can sand this thing just like this. Round that front edge right there so that it's nice and round like the wing of an airplane. There's our clothespin. We're going to glue onto that. Here's my wing. Now, the nice thing about this, the paper wing, is that it's not in two halves. It's one solid thing. So you just have to put the glue down just like this. Smash it down there. And it's okay if you're a little sloppy. It's okay. And then you've already got a little pencil mark there for where the middle is. So let me get this straight up and down because it looks nice in the camera. Straight up and down. Press this here for a second and straighten it up. Straighten it up. Looks pretty good. That's getting there. It's kind of straight. Okay. Right. And then I'm going to smash this glue down into a fillet here up front and back here in the back. There we go. Now, don't touch that. I mean the wing part. Don't touch the wing part. Let that dry. Now, I'm also going to glue. I made this earlier. Here is my tail. I already made that off camera. And I'm going to put some glue down there. And I'm going to smash it. Here we go. I didn't sand off those into a round, but that's all right. It looks sort of like a glider, doesn't it? It could be less horsey. It could be smaller, but, you know, what do you want? There we go. Straighten it up. There we go. Right. You could also paint these. I've not painted any of these. This time, I think I'm just going to leave these au naturel, as they say. There we go. There is a clothespin airplane made of wood and cardboard and metal. Now, let's go back to this wooden one, and I bet you now it's dry, and we can pick it up and do stuff with it. We can clothespin things together with it. We can pretend we have an airplane. We can pretend we're an airplane. Airplane. I made some other ones, too, off camera. Made this one. Made this one. Made this kind. There's a biplane right here. You could glue some to the bottom. Biplane. That motorcycle going by just then was really fortuitous. Clothespin airplanes is a fun indoor craft project to do. And next time we'll go back and do another illustration on the Marshall Farkin Fire Truck Ducks book. But in the meantime, you know what to go do with yourselves, right? Go make some art. Make a drawing or a painting. Go make something entertaining. Make some art. Go make some art. Go get your pencils, paints, and papers, blaster, chisels, markers, scrapers, rulers, canvas, brushes, hammers, nails, and tape, guitars, and super glue. Get glue and macaroni, cameras, frames, and fried bologna. Go get anything you need for making art. That gnawing feeling deep inside that you can do it isn't lying to you. Get up off your butt and make some art. Paint by Monster is made by one monster sitting in a tiny upstairs bedroom studio smack downtown in Muncie, Indiana. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, go make some art, and see you next time. Oop.